We all saw firsthand how much money was made off the vaccine push, and how much power and influence those pharmaceutical companies had over politicians and even the will of the American people. But that money was only measured in billions, at least domestically. Do you want to know who has even more power and more influence than that? It's the military-industrial complex. That money is measured in billions, almost trillions. And that doesn't include black budget spending that is basically unaccountable to anybody. Now, whenever someone mentions the industrial military complex, you start sounding a little conspiratorial. However, in reality, we all probably know somebody that's worked for the industrial military complex, whether that's through the military or some of these defense corporations. I'm going to play this clip of Tucker Carlson and Tulsi Gabbard because I think they had a really interesting conversation in regards to the subject.
Woman from Hawaii, Tulsi Gabbard. Congresswoman, thanks so much for coming on tonight.
Thank you.
So let's just, and it's hard to know what to believe always, and especially now, but let's just stipulate, agree to agree, that it seems likely we could see some conflict between Russia and Ukraine soon. How should we view that?
Well, first of all, President Biden could end this crisis and prevent a war with Russia by doing something very simple, guaranteeing that Ukraine will not become a member of NATO. Because if Ukraine became a member of NATO, that would put U.S. and NATO troops directly on the doorstep of Russia, which, as Putin has laid out, would undermine their national security interests. The reality is that it is highly, highly unlikely that Ukraine will ever become a member of NATO anyway. So the question is, why doesn't President Biden and NATO leaders actually just say that and guarantee it? Which begs the question of why are we in this position then? If the answer to this and preventing this war from happening is very clear as day, and really it just points to one conclusion that I can see, which is they actually want Russia to invade Ukraine. Why would they? Because number one, it gives the Biden administration a clear excuse to go and levy draconian sanctions, which are a modern day siege against Russia and the Russian people. And number two, it cements this Cold War in place. The military-industrial complex is the one that benefits from this. They clearly control the Biden administration. Warmongers on both sides in Washington have been drumming up these tensions. If they get Russia to invade Ukraine, then again, it locks in this new Cold War. The military-industrial complex starts to make a ton of more money than they have been in fighting Al-Qaeda or making weapons for Al-Qaeda. And who pays the price? The American people pay the price. The Ukrainian people pay the price. The Russian people pay the price. It undermines our own national security, but the military-industrial complex that controls so many of our politicians.
We all saw